This is Sergeant Burbank with Louisville Metro Homicide. Today's date is December 4th, 2014. Time now is 16:58 hours. I'm currently in the Professional Standards Unit of Corrections in the basement of the Hall of Justice. Present with me is Eric Grahm. Mr. Grahm, spell your last name for me, please.
Graham.
And what's your date of birth, Eric?
December 15th, 1982.
And what's a good phone number for you?
502-298-8657.
And for the record, what's your social security number?
423-6037.
Okay. Now, I got called over here because they said you had information on a shooting that happened at a pink liquor store on Dixie Highway. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you expand for me?
He was a friend of mine.
Who is he?
Donald Hagen.
Okay.
He asked me a few days before that to take him out there. I was under the assumption that they were kind of close friends. Everybody that knew him pretty much knew what he did and who he hung around with or this and that. He didn't have no electricity. So he was staying in that house with no electricity over on Ford Circle. That's the reason that I've gotten that he wanted to go out there. Just to get the fuck out of the village and, at least it had electricity out there. I took him out there. And he stayed out there shooting guns. I seen him back and forth down there in Valley Village the few days before he got shot. When he got shot, for one, supposedly, and this is why I was hoping maybe you could tell me, there was 5 911 calls placed the day that he got shot out there at Terri Walker's from a certain phone. This certain phone was stolen out of a friend of mine's car, and it was my friend's girlfriend's. Right after the shooting or whatever, this phone miraculously just reappears back down in Valley Village. So it's hopped all the way out there from 44 and made 5 911 calls. I don't know who made them, and then now it's winding back up in the village and was sold for $40. There's certain stuff that don't add up. I talked to Jasmine Southwick, which was one of the girls that got arrested out there the day for a warrant, and she told me that she was woken up by Terri Walker saying, "Go down there in the basement, Donald Hagen's bleeding to death, go down there and clean him up." But Terry wrote me on Facebook saying that he was outside leaning in the car and accidentally shot himself. Man, I know Donald Hagen enough to where I know he had a lot more care and stuff for his guns, that he didn't accidentally shoot himself. I believe that there's more to it.
All right, let me go back a little bit. Donald Hagen, you said he had to take him out there. Where did you have to take him?
I took him out there on 44 Cow Branch Road or whatever, Terri Walker's.
So you took him over to Terri Walker's house?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is that who you were talking about? You said you were close friends?
Yeah, I was under the assumption that they've known each other for a while.
Was it just those two?
Yeah, it was when I took him and Leanne out there, which was Donald Hagen's girlfriend, another one that got locked up with Jasmine that day. Later on, I found out that supposedly one of Terri Walker's ex-girl, because she's bisexual or whatever, one of her ex-girlfriends or whatever was one of Leanne's ex-girlfriends that was very jealous of Donald Hagen and that wanted him back or whatever, or wanted her back.
You say he stayed in the house with no electricity. Where was this house at?
Ford Circle.
Ford Circle?
Yeah, down in Valley Village.
All right. Now, so how long ago before he died did you drive him out there?
I want to say 2-3 days, but the night before, supposedly on the website WLKY, it said that a 911 call was made at 10 a.m. He was pronounced dead at 11:40. That night, I seen him. The night before that, he asked me to go with him and do something, and then he don't know what. See, man, this is what I don't get. a week or two before, he would just drop like one-liners to me, like hints, like maybe somebody was after him, or he had to go do this and that, and then he would just change the subject and go into something else.
Can you remember any of the things that he said?
And I might have to go up to the top of Pendleton Hill with him and handle something with Donald Hagen.
Who said that to you?
He said it to me.
Who's he?
Donald Hagen.
Okay, but
Like,
who is he that he said to go up there with?
That's what I'm saying. He wouldn't tell me.
Okay.
He would just throw me little liners like that. And then the night before, that night that supposedly that morning he got shot, he looked at me and said, we was over at a friend's house. He said, Bubba, you might have to go with me tonight. I need some help. I was like, okay. And then like 2 minutes later, he's like, you go in there and get me something to drink and grab me some of those cookies out of the cabinet. Go in there, and then a few minutes later, I see him on the surveillance camera, and he's walking down the driveway. He didn't even ask me to come back with him or nothing. It's just like he took off, but there was something wrong with him. Man, dude, he was pale white to the face. There was something wrong. And then I find out later that this is like a whole lot bigger than just his death. I've heard so many different stories, and it's not just one person's telling me. And then I'm putting 2 and 2 together with what somebody else has told me. I believe Donald Hagen might have killed a pedophile. And this goes back before he even got... One day I came in and dude, he's sitting there crying. And he's fucking rocking himself. And he's like, Bubba, I need help. And he's crying to me and everything. And he's telling me that he's pretty much beat the living shit out of this dude. Beat the life out of dude, but he couldn't finish him. And I'm like, dude, what are you doing? What's going on? And then he tells me, don't worry about it. The next morning I come over and he's doing the same thing, and he tells me it's done. He's finished it.
Do you remember when this was?
It's been a month or two. And then I thought maybe, you know what I'm saying, with him smoking meth and staying up for hours and days, maybe he was just imagining this or hallucinating it. And then somebody was like, no, dude, if he cries to you and he's rocking normally, he's confiding in you, he's telling you something. And that's what I'm saying. Like, that's why I don't want none of this, but I've got to get this shit off my chest. I've got Facebook messages from Terri Walker and Jasmine Southwick.
What does it say?
Well, if you killed somebody, would you be so gung-ho on you don't care if they charge you with it or not? You'll take it? No, I'd be like, oh, no, fuck that. I didn't do it. I'll fight that shit.
Mm-hmm.
That's what her messages say to me. Like, Donald's in a better place now and this and that. She's the one that took him to the liquor store. And I've heard so much different shit. But then Jasmine has kind of told me otherwise. Jasmine told me a couple nights right after he died, or the night of the funeral, Eric, that's bullshit. He wasn't taking out trash and accidentally got shot.
How does she know?
She was one of the ones that was arrested there for the warrants. Jasmine and Leanne.
What are you talking when you say she was arrested for the warrants?
Supposedly, like when the cops showed up there because of the shooting and somebody calling 911, they was there with old bench warrants and got arrested.
This phone that you keep talking about that we called 911 5 times, and then whose phone was it?
It's supposed to be a girl named Brianna's phone.
Okay. When did it get taken from her?
Probably a week before his death.
Before her death?
Before his.
And before his death. Okay. And then it mysteriously popped back up. Do you know the number to that phone?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
I can probably find it out for you.
All right. You said there's a bunch of messages on your Facebook account from Terri and was it Jasmine?
Mm-hmm.
They both sent it to you?
I mean, anybody that knows Donald Hagen and knows him well enough, man, the man owned a fucking bulletproof vest. He had it on when he went out there to his house.
What did he sell? Was it meth or was it a meth? Okay.
Yeah, and then that's another thing too. And then I've heard from somebody, man, he would fucking rip people's ass for fucking shooting heroin. But then I've heard that he's ran heroin. that he pushed heroin and moved heroin.
So let me clarify this. When was the last time that you saw Donald Hagen alive?
He supposedly died that morning. I seen him that night.
So the night before you
Yeah.
saw him, and you said he was acting kind of strange. He was pale white.
It was like he was pale white.
Did he ever say anything about any beef he was having with anybody? Did he ever mention anybody by name, saying, "Hey, this guy said this to me"?
Man, I've heard he had to go deal with some shit at the top of Pendleton Hill, which is out off Dixie, and then I've heard like the Mexican cartel.
Why would the Mexican cartel want him dead?
I have no clue.
Do you know who he ran meth for?
Who he ran meth for? He pretty much just did it for like personal use and shit. This guy was one of those people that you might think you know everything about, but he's pretty much playing your ass.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's just how he was. He was a sneaky motherfucker for real. But like, man, he'd call me up, "Hey, bub, you want to come down?" And I ain't gonna lie, we'd sit there and pay for my cigarettes, this and that, but he was one of those people that would always show you respect until you showed him disrespect. And he'd do anything for you. You know, I remember having to call him one time because I didn't have no money for, something for my kids. "All right, I'll be right down there." And just brought down $20. "All right, I'll pay you back." "No, don't worry about it." He was just one of those kind of people. Like, everybody's had their persona about him or this and that because I've heard so many stories about him. But from what I've known of him, he was a damn good dude.
You're out there. Obviously, you're way more in the streets than I'm in the streets. What are people saying about what happened here?
A lot of people think that he was killed.
By who?
A lot of people believe that Terri Walker did it, and a lot of them think that maybe Leanne did.
Well, why would Terri Walker kill him?
I have no clue. That's what I've been trying to find out. But why would you be so gun-ho on talking about taking the charges?
And why would Leanne kill him?
Supposedly, at Donald Hagen's house, there's a tape recording of a guy and Leanne talking about Donald Hagen.
In his house?
Yeah,
the one that doesn't have electricity?
Yeah. Where it is, because I've heard somebody's done broke in and stole shit out of it. I don't know.
What were they talking about?
I have no clue. But from what a lot of people say, a lot of people think maybe that Leanne just killed him.
So,
But
you brought this up for a reason. What was the reason that you brought up the tape?
Because you're sitting there asking, who do I believe? Man, tell you the truth, I don't know. Because I've seen Donald Hagen be so spun out and beg Leanne to kill him and pull out a gun. And she'd be like, "No, no." But then I've heard, man, it's just, I've cried, I've lost sleep over it. I don't know what to do. But at the same time, I wanted to at least call and talk to y'all detectives about it or whatever, but didn't want to because of my warrants.
I understand that.
So now that I'm pretty much incarcerated, I have nothing else to lose.
Now that you brought that up, the incarceration part, you weren't read your rights, correct? Okay. Well, I didn't threaten you or coerce you in any way, shape, or form to talk to us.
No, sir.
Did I make you any promises?
No.
Okay. You willingly are giving up this information at this point?
Yes,
okay.
sir.
If you had to put your money on somebody, on one of these things that have occurred, either Leanne killed him, Terri killed him, or he killed himself, where are you putting your money on?
I'm going to say Terri Walker.
Is there any reason behind it?
Not necessarily, but from what I've heard, like her reputation, she's damn good with guns. She had a shitload of guns out there. I'm not for sure, but I was told that he was shot or he was killed by the heart. How does that miraculously fucking misfire and you accidentally just shoot yourself right in the fucking heart?
No, wait, go back. You said she. You kept saying she. Who's she?
Terri Walker.
Terry's a female.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm confused. I thought Terry was a guy.
Yep.
Okay.
Terry's a like a butch female. Like,
Do you know where Donald was shot, like location-wise?
I was told, she said out there at the bottom of her hill in her driveway, the way Jasmine kind of maybe talked about how she got woken up saying that he was down there bleeding to death. I want to almost say maybe he was downstairs in her basement. Her out.
Where's her house at?
Cow Branch Road.
Cow Branch?
Yeah, out in 44.
Can you spell that for me?
I guess it's just C-O-W then B-R-A-N-C-H.
Okay. Cow.
Yeah. Her dad got a shitload of money. I've heard that she's already, and here's another thing too. Fuck, I wish I knew his name. There's a guy named Larry and somebody else that I was just told today, a girl named Erica Lanahan, which is good friends of Donald Hagen. I think she's supposed to meet with the detectives too. Supposedly, she was told by somebody that Larry and them came in and moved some furniture and cleaned up after the shooting.
Okay. Do you know anything about the house on Cow Branch Road? Do you know the address by chance?
No.
Do you know what color it is?
I could take you to it, but that's about it.
Okay. All right. So, just for the record, this is a case that Bullitt County is working right now, okay? So, I'm not involved in the case. If Bullitt County were to contact you, would you be willing to talk to them?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Is there anything that I forgot to ask you or that you think is important in regards to this case that you want to get on the record before we go off the record?
Not really, but I feel like once I do leave, I'm going to end up fucking remembering something.
And what I'll do is, when I get done here, I'll give you my card. And if you remember anything when you get out, just call me. Or when you're in I mean, I don't know what you're in for. You're on, I think you have warrants for probation. Is it probation violation? Is that what it is? You'll have my number. If you want to call me, you call me. If you want to get a message to me, you can send them down here. I work across the street, so I can walk right over here and talk to you. It doesn't matter to me. Whatever is easiest for you, buddy. All right? If there's nothing else, and I'm going to go ahead and go off the record. The time now is 17:15 hours.